the shooting range. In this episode, the story of the misunderstood Argentinian tank. We repeat a previous challenge, but with completely new targets. Hotline. The developers answer questions that you've left in the comments. But first, let's start with taking a look at a powerful Soviet hunter. Today, we'll talk about Project 159, a Soviet Sea Hunter-class patrol ship. Just look at this handsome thing. Tier 3, BR 3.7. And these ideal forms. Isn't it beautiful? It even has a scuba wing for a steady ride. But the main thing, as they say, is not what's outside, but what's inside. That is, the guns. The ship is armed with 2 AK-726 automatic guns. They cannot boast of a huge caliber, but the rate of fire is just amazing. 136 shots before reloading, and this is just one of 2. But don't worry, you'll never run out of ammo, as you've got a total of 1,360 shells. Of course, there are some additional weapons. Project 159 is equipped with rocket launchers for 64 projectiles which, if desired, can be replaced with depth charges. And also, there is a 400mm torpedo tube to cover any possible situation. Torpedoes are located in a 5-pipe launcher with good aiming angles on both sides. All this is great and useful, but the ship has some problems with defense. Specifically, Project 159 has no anti-aircraft guns at all. If you want to fight off the annoying aviation, you have to turn your turrets and destroy the enemy from the main caliber guns. Yes, it's a good thing to remember, but there will be no difficulties. Projectiles with the radio fuses are ideal for air defense. The situation with the armory is slightly worse than with the armaments. It's there, and can even protect the turret of the main caliber and the bridge, but the survivability isn't that good anyway. Also, the crew consists of only 98 people. Not enough compared with the ships of other nations. To compensate for that, you've got great maneuverability. Project 159 accelerates to 59 kph in realistic battles and 69 kph in arcade. Of course, you won't catch a motorboat or anything, but you won't lag behind the Allies either. Anyhow, the strength of this ship is not in speed or durability, but in firepower. With such a rate of fire, you can even threaten most of the destroyers, let alone the smaller boats. However, this is not an excuse to play Rambo. The AK-726's caliber is quite small, so the distance greatly affects the effectiveness of your fire. The optimal distance for shooting is 2 to 4 kilometers, not more. Aim further, and the retaliatory strike from the same destroyers will give you the blues. For distant targets, better use torpedoes. As for the tactics, keep your enemies close and don't engage in firing at long distances. Better let those of the opponents come to you to destroy them with one gulp from automatic guns. Also, don't forget about rocket launchers. There are 4 of them, 2 near the bridge and 2 at the stern. An excellent weapon against especially insidious boats. Your priority target is the enemy's mosquito fleet, but don't forget that mosquitoes can bite quite painfully. Or, in our case, they can spit lots of torpedoes. Also, don't hesitate to attack bigger ships if they have the courage to get close to you. Your firepower is enough to destroy any enemy on this BR. Now, what are you waiting for? What do you mean it's unseasonable to hunt midges in November? Don't be ridiculous. A good exterminator will always find a job. And there's plenty of it on the battlefield, that's for sure. And now let's go to Latin America, a rare destination point for us. After the Second World War, a large number of American tanks went to the armed forces of the countries of Latin America. For a long time, the most popular machine in those lands was, yeah, of course, it was the Sherman. But by the beginning of the 70s, the situation began to change. The fact is that in many potential war zones in this part of the world, there were practically no bridges capable of withstanding heavy armored vehicles. The Shermans look great at parades, and no one can take this away from them. But the military experts understood that in case of war, the armies of Latin America would need other, more conceptual machines. They would have to be effective in the marshy jungle, while having high speed and maneuverability on the treacherous South American plains. And there are slippery soils where the vehicle would blow down even on a slightest slope, and also loess sands, where you can easily fall through the ground right up to the turret. Moreover, these conceptual tanks would have to be integrated into complex combat systems created on a single repair base with a whole bunch of other engineering equipment. So, sooner or later, all the companies involved in the development of tanks for Latin American countries abandoned the classic tank development in favor of the AFVs and such. And the tank created by the designers of the German company ThyssenKrupp was no exception. It was named the TAM, for Spanish Tanque Argentino Mediano, which literally translates as Medium Argentinian Tank. Many experts still consider it perfect for the requirements presented by the region, all thanks to a successful arrangement of the chassis from German AFV Marder, created by Rheinmetall concern in the late 60s. The front hydromechanical transmission, coupled with a torsion suspension, ensured excellent performance on swampy and unstable soils, and even made it possible to overcome small obstacles on the move. A rather low center of gravity also contributed to stability, and the low hull made it easy to hide and disguise, even taking into account the dimensions of the tank turret. So, if you hear that the TAM's armor is rather weak, and the gun, they say, could be more powerful, know this. This is just a misunderstanding of the specifics of the region. A 30-ton Argentinian tank could overcome a swamp and a small river on the move, and then also climb a wet clay slope. Neither the Leopard nor the Abrams could catch up with that. And when the TAM would meet enemy armored vehicles, its 105mm gun would be quite enough. And if not, one could always set up to 4 grenade launchers on the turret. After our previous challenge with bombs, we asked ourselves, what if we switch big tanks with even bigger ships? Let's find out. Not so long ago, tanks ceased to be the largest machines on Earth for our game. Now the title belongs to the giants from the fleet branches. So why not test them for durability? Wish us good luck. It will be very difficult. To counter our past challenge, we start right away with 10-kilogram bombs. The goal is the mighty Krasny Kavkaz. Our brave squadron comes to the target. Let's just turn off the air defense in advance, or the only thing falling from the sky will not be bombs, but aircraft fragments. We drop all the bombs at the same time, and nothing. Not even a scratch. Maybe we just messed up with the wrong ship? Let's change the Krasny Kafkas to the American Fletcher and repeat the attack. And failure again, like some New Year crackers. No matter how long we attacked the light cruisers and destroyers, all to no avail. The smallest bombs can't harm those targets. Ships without armor, like torpedo boats, are vulnerable to them, but the effect, let's say, is not impressive. Okay, let's take the bombs that are slightly larger. 100 kilograms. Drop 'em. Now that's more like it. The upper structures flared up like matches. If the fire is not extinguished, the ship will burn out. But we're not here for that, are we? To completely destroy the ship, you will need 5 to 7 bombs dropped at the same point of the deck. Then it won't survive. Going further, 250 kilograms. Now the ships sink much faster. Neither the Emden, not the Trenton, nor the Krasny Kafkas can hold more than 2 to 3 hits. Even though the latter is desperately trying to survive, even the novelty of the British fleet begins to lose in its weight category. So what? 250 kilograms? That's it? Really? Well, yes, after this point the bombs can easily drown destroyers and cruisers. But we don't want to lose. Okay, one last attempt to do it with the small ones. We take 3 Heinkel 111s, 32 50-kilogram bombs in each. Well, it's gonna be a hot now. We'll unleash bomb hell on our victim. Fire, explosions, masts, rescue boats, turrets of the main caliber fly in different directions. Everything is in smoke. And the ship? And the ship continues to go about its business, dang it! Well, turns out big ships only pair with big bombs. Good to know. Get ready for the traditional last part of our show, Hotline. Developers answering questions from the comments. The first question comes from a user called Nixel. Really? No mention of 100 years since the end of the Great War? Edit. Sorry if I came across as being a bit annoyed. I'm not really bothered. I was just expecting to see something. We feel you, mate. But to be honest, our game doesn't really correspond with the Great War. We don't have the tech from those times in it and don't plan on introducing it, as we've said multiple times. So yeah, it's a great and very important date and all, but not that related to us. Then there's another message coming from Axdan. It's possible to torpedo a plane? Sounds like a suggestion for yet another challenge. Joseph Warren asks, Japanese naval line ETA? As always, mate, when it's done. And the last, very serious message is from Pavel Wojciak. I wanted Akhenaten to find Bruce. He failed. That's because I'm not Bruce. I'm Batman. Well, that's it for today, but feel free to write your questions in the comments below. We do read them all, and you might see some of them answered in the next episode. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you on the shooting range.